things are just growing so abundantly, so I want to take you along for a end of May garden tour here in my Zone 9 garden in Northern California. So let's just take a look at everything I have growing, how it's doing, what's blooming, and we'll just enjoy a little walk through the garden this evening. Here are our grape plants. We have 2 Himrod white and 2 of the Concord just classic purple grapes. These are how the grapes are looking. They are sizing up so nicely. We're estimating that we will have grapes around September based on days to maturity. We're very new to growing grapes, but these are looking stunning. They're very loaded down with fruit, so we're very excited for those. So the grapes are doing fantastic. Here I have my 70 onions. Onions are starting to bulb up very nicely. So these should be done probably mid-June. So in the next 2 to 3 weeks, I will have onions that I will start harvesting. So I have some gomphrena there, zinnias there, and some peppers in the back. I don't know how any of that will do in pots in our heat. And then here is my lemongrass plant. Here is the strawberries. They have put off so many strawberries this year. They've slowed down a little bit. The temperatures are really rising, but we're still getting little strawberries here and there, and we're really enjoying all of this strawberry goodness. And then I did plant some miniature onions in the bottom of this green stalk. I did pull all of the radishes out of this green stalk recently, and I have some more mini onions up here which look so cute, and these ones are really starting to bulb up, so I will be able to harvest these soon. In this bed I have my sweet potatoes. I have Murasaki purple and a Beauregard. Here is a random pepper plant. I have no idea what it is. 2 dahlias, a little it's not like a Shasta daisy, I forget what it's called. It's some type of little daisy. We have some up potted tomatoes and peppers and my eucalyptus that I'm trying to grow. It's more pepper plants, looking much better than the other ones. I think these are the Sugar Rush Red, but we'll see. And then a lot of nasturtiums, and then I have a squash back in the back there that is the Rampicante, and then I have 2 more chayote squashes that I tried to transplant to start going up this trellis over here. And then I have some tomatoes over there, a zinnia, a bunch of yarrow, frosted explosion grass, and then I have some mellow kiwi dianthus, a couple little random mini onions that somehow made it in, and then some dragon cress is what it looks like right there. So pulled out my Covent Garden Baby's Breath flowers. They all bloomed. I enjoyed them in bouquets, but they were kind of dying back, and with the heat they don't really love it, so I pulled them out. I have 3 peppers there, and then a pepper down here, another little daisy, and then I have status in the back with some feverfew, a couple little rudbeckia plants there, and then this beauty is my chayote squash. So a little update, he has just taken off and taken over this trellis, so I'm so excited, and he's already reaching out to grab onto the next rung of the trellis. So I'm so excited, and hopefully I will get some chayotes. My father-in-law is skeptical, but we will see. In this bed over here I planted some honorine jobert, probably butchered that, but it's an anemone that I got on a sale. I got 3 plants, or like 3 root stock of it, for $28, so we'll see what comes up there. In this bed I have 2 zinnia plants. I have more of that dianthus. I have dahlias, dahlia there, peppers all in here, another zinnia, dahlias, and then over here I have cilantro, escabiosa that's not really doing a whole lot. I have some thyme. I have dahlias, rudbeckia, and a gomphrena in here. It's kind of a random smattering of plants. Over here is my feverfew and basil, and they are looking really lovely. The basil is honestly kind of getting drowned out by the feverfew, so now I know you can't really plant anything with feverfew, it will kind of take it over. But it is competing, and it's making the basil actually taller, so that's good. Because I want to use this basil particularly for bouquets. So this does look like it's starting to want to put on some buds. So hopefully I'll get feverfew soon because it's one of my favorites. And here I have a little echinacea plant that I bought as a rootstock. The other one died, so we'll see if this one survives. This one is one of the little mellow kiwi dianthus that's going to be like the little puff at the top, and that's pretty much all it is. There's no like flower per se, but I just love that. A dahlia and then a zinnia in this bed. Cosmos are just taking over this planter. These little bugs are all over everything, but they're looking really lovely. I love that one. Stunning. So I love these cosmos. I've been adding them to bouquets. I have some dahlias here. I have 4 in here now. I had 5. I pulled one that I'm not interested in. It's not a color that I like, and I'm trying to build a collection of dahlias that I love. Here's some over here. I have one marked. It was like a really beautiful, interesting color of like yellow and orange. So we'll see how that does on second and third blooms. This one was a purple one that I was interested in, but there's 6 in here, and as they bloom, if it's not something I want, I'm gonna yoink the plant out. I don't need it. My onion row, I have about 200 onions in there. I did just give these front ones a haircut, and they're already shooting up and need another haircut almost, but I'm just gonna leave them, and I guess they can flop over. We'll see how those onions do. These are a Mexican sunflower that's looking really beautiful. And then this is a little squash, just a basic, I think it's a crook neck. And then these are all my peppers, just various types of peppers, jalapenos. I have some, let's see, I can't even read, all of these have faded. Oh, chile de árbol right here. It's already putting on a little pepper. And these are just a bunch of, this is like chile tepin, which is a really small chile. And then just a bunch of different chiles. Here I have status, which is starting to flower. And it looks so beautiful. And then here is some feverfew. These are some cucumbers and dill on this side. Unfortunately, some of my cucumbers got eaten, so I did replace them with some tomato transplants. And then more feverfew, pink poker's status that is looking just so beautiful. I cannot wait to put that in a bouquet. And then more feverfew. I pulled out some dianthus, I think, from here that just wasn't doing well, and I put in 2 artichokes. We'll see how that does. And then some ageratum, which I'll show you in that other bed that looks stunning, but this is coming on nicely. This is dragon cress that is starting to bloom. I have anise hyssop right here in this bed. More pennycress, no. I have more dragon cress, and these are scabiosa. I haven't had much luck with the scabiosa at all. No blooms. And then more dragon cress, a rudbeckia plant that looks so beautiful. It's kind of shaded out these other ones, but I cannot wait to see which one this is. It's either Prairie Sun or Indian Summer, I believe, so we'll see. At the end of this bed and this bed, I have cosmos, which are looking beautiful. I have some berry plants that desperately need better trellising, but we got to figure it out because it is just taking off. And then this is the long dahlia row. This is the only one that is blooming so far, and I really love it. It's just like yellow with a little hint of like pinky peach, kind of. In the back looks more pink, but the front is kind of a peachy with yellow. And then all the rest of them, we're getting a lot of little buds forming on a lot of the plants, but nothing is really blooming yet. So we'll see how that does. Lots and lots of flowers forming, so soon I'll have lots of dahlia updates to give you. and what comes out of this bed right here. And then I'll show you my spineless perfection squash plant. It's the only, well, aside from the other squash, it's the only one that I have that's actually sizing up. And it's actually putting on some zucchini. I call it squash, but it's all the same to me. Zucchini. This is the tomato row, which everything right now, this area is just always in the sun when I want to film. But these tomatoes are looking absolutely beautiful. I did actually use some zip ties because that's what I had to hold them to the trellis a little bit better, because they are getting so tall they're gonna fall over. We are getting lots of flowers, and I'll show you over here some fruit set already, and we already have beautiful little tomatoes forming. So that's the tomato row. Let's come back here. Here is the zinnia row. So basically, I mean, they're looking really good, but I basically just grabbed like 3 or 4 of each of the zinnia varieties that I had, put them in a baggie, like shook it up, started the seeds, and just planted them out here. So it's a very random row of zinnias, and I'm excited to see all the different varieties. And then let me show you the watermelon. These watermelon are really starting to vine out. They look very beautiful. And then I did add some squash in here that I had left over. So hopefully those will catch on and take off, because I really wanted lots of squash for summer. So that is mostly watermelon. So that is this garden. Very, very beautiful. It's been lots of work weeding and just planting all of this, but I know it's gonna be so worth it. Oh, in the back over there, let me show you the corn. Back over here, I planted corn and I forgot about it, but it's looking really beautiful. Not super great germination on my corn this year. Bought from the same place I always have, but hopefully we'll get maybe 10 or 15 ears of corn. We'll see. There's another walk back through the little garden areas before I take you across. Well, it's kind of mostly in the sun, but I can show you. And then here's some seedlings that I need to plant out. I have some calendula, some basil, chamomile, some really hot peppers that are not having great germination, but they are like 6 years old, and I bought them from Australia a very long time ago, like pre-COVID, and I wanted to finally try them and the germination's not super spectacular. I have some zinnias here, I have some marigolds there, I have a little bit of cilantro, I have some more tomatoes that I want to try to just put places. I have some more zinnias, they need water, some more little cherry tomatoes. I have epazote, which is a Mexican herb. I have some Mexican tarragon. I had 1 seed, and there you go. And then sweet Thai basil, purple echinacea, and then I have a white echinacea that came up. I may have to thin these actually. And then some zinnias that I saved the seed from last year. I have some Clemson spineless okra. I have a cucamelon, well, a couple of them, but they grow so slow. I did not realize how painfully slow they grow. These are some melons, and then some more peppers, like a second round, some more tomatoes. Those are the micro dwarf tomatoes, and then some yarrow, chia, which I wanted to try, and then straw flower and hot biscuits amaranth. So those are all seedlings I need to get in the ground like already, but ask me where I have to put them, because the answer is nowhere. But I'm going to stick them in places because I am determined to grow all the things. This bed I have about 12 dahlias. I have pulled a couple out, but these are starting to bloom. This is going to be yellow. A lot of them have been yellow, and purple. This is like a pinky purple. And then this is the Gumfrina, which this is like the fiery mix. And then I think Carmine and Sequin over there, which Sequin's getting the tallest. So taking note of that for when I grow a Gumfrina next year. And then this is a really beautiful Rudbeckia plant. I'm not sure if it's Indian Summer or Prairie Sun, but we're gonna see because it is seeming like it's gonna start to form some flowers. And then these are zinnias, just a random again mix that I did and put some in there. And then this is some feverfew. This was planted first and in direct sun this whole time, and it is actually the smallest that I have. So the ones that are the tallest so far, well, the ones out in the large garden are probably just as tall, but the ones that have gotten a lot of shade are also really tall. I am gonna cut a bunch of flowers to take in. And then this little pinwheel, or I think it's called ping pong scabiosa, is starting to form a head. So really excited about that. I did plant some zinnias in here for later because I had the extra starts. And then this is my status. I gotta come around the other side because I'm most in love with status, I think, this year. This is winged amobium. At first I pulled like 4 plants because I thought I'm not gonna like this. I don't know where to cut it, but as it has matured and the flowers have opened, it looks a lot more like, okay, I know where I would cut it for bouquets, but still I love it, but I just don't know if it's like worth growing for like flower production, like bouquet making. And this is azuratum, which I love. This is the white, I think it's called Dondo white. And this is the blue horizon, which I am in love with. It's just so beautiful. And then this is like a red, and it is just fabulous too. Super tall stems. And then I tried to do like a red, white, and blue blend here. Have status, which I am so in love with. It's stunning. It's little papery flowers. I am going to harvest this one today and put it in my little mason jar bouquet. All of the status is starting to open, and I'm so excited for it. So this bed is probably one of my favorites in the whole garden this season. And then I'll end with my dahlias over there because they're all like mostly blooming. They're all different, little weird ones, little cute. I don't know, they're all cute, but lots of little weirdos. So we'll see all those dahlias over there, and then I'll show you my other in-ground garden that's been a little bit more of a challenge this season. It's first year putting this in, so I think like the ground is a little off, and you know, I don't think the soil that I use was the best. Things are struggling. I don't think stuff is gonna really grow here, but the one thing that is growing well is the little sunflowers, and they are starting to put on little sunflowers. So probably in the next couple of weeks I'll be able to harvest some of these sunflowers. I do need to weed this area, but I do have some Roselle hibiscus growing here because I love agua de Jamaica. Here I have the Clemson spineless okra that I did plant. The volunteer tomatillos that I moved here, and they are just doing fantastic in suboptimal condition. And finally, we're gonna end on this beautiful bed of dahlias, and I just want to show you all of the cuties. Some of these I'm not gonna keep because I really want like at least semi-doubles, kind of like this one. I would love doubles, but you know, that's not really prevalent. This one is really interesting to me. It's looking super cute. The sun is kind of going down far enough it's hard to see, but it's really interesting. So I can't wait to see that fully open, probably in the next day or two. That'll be fully open. And then this one has been open for a while, so I'm probably gonna cut it for a bouquet, and it's so adorable. This little guy is gonna do some pollinating. And then this one's really cute. I may keep that one. I may keep these and I can share them with my mother-in-law and stuff like that. I think she'll like them. And then I'm gonna keep this one and share with my mother-in-law. There's little B doing his work. And then it's just a cute little yellow one. It's kind of almost highlighter yellow, but not quite. as annoying as highlighter yellow. There is the little dahlias here. I think they're so adorable. I literally look forward to every single day coming out here and seeing all of these and seeing what's opened. So I hope you enjoyed this garden tour even a little bit. If you did, then definitely like and subscribe, because I'm only going to grow more things, and I'm only going to learn how to optimize all of the growing and grow more food and flowers. So if that interests you, then definitely like and subscribe. And until next time, take care.